Hey, Don here. Okay, back with another live stream. Checking it over there. Make sure everything looks good on my laptop. Let me check my sound. Well, it hasn't got past my intro screen yet. There it is. Okay. Yeah. Okay, now I'm going to do something a little different today. I'm going to start up another backup stream so that I can reboot this machine, but you won't see any difference. It'll just continue while the reboot. Because I'm going to need to reboot it during my video that I'm going to do. So that's the view of my monitor. I'm going to switch to the other machine. And all I need to do, I've got it all set up. I just need to say start stream. That is after I get done coughing, I guess. I kind of wanted to wait and make sure that the other machine was going to show up anyway. Oh, I see. It just showed up. It confused me. Okay, start stream. And clicked on there and it doesn't seem to have done anything yet. Oh, wait a second. This is the ASRock. Maybe I just missed it. Let's try it again. I don't want to do it twice. That would turn it on and off. Uh-oh. Maybe it's already done the problem that it does. The ASRock, 8-core, 8308 core, 8 gig of RAM, but there's something funky. There's something wrong, I guess, in the code for of OBS Studio. I've read about it, and that's what they said. There's something wrong. It doesn't support AMD processors too well. But it will. The interface will just freeze up. And I've messed around with it, setting up the audio and everything. Yeah, I can see that it's froze up now that I think about it. The audio signal's not doing anything. So, but I'm still streaming from my, I want to make sure, I took a listen to the audio. I'm still streaming from my Lenovo i5, so you can still see and hear what's going on. I'm going to hit exit and see if it does anything. Yeah, the whole program's froze up. Odd thing is if you just get it streaming, then even though the interface freezes up, it just keeps right on streaming just fine. So I'm still going to try to use it. And, you know, OBS is the only thing running. There would be FFmpeg running if it was streaming. So let's one more time to make sure it's not. Yeah, now the interface is going to white, you know, and that's what it does. That's a real shame that it doesn't, you know, it does that. I've used it before as a backup stream, and it does a good backup stream. It just said when you get back over there and you get done, you're going to have to use the system monitor to force close it. So you can't control it. You can't tell it to stop recording or streaming or anything. So I'm going to close it, open it back up again, and it should be okay after that. I wanted to see, I knew where OBS was in there, but I wanted to see if anything else was running to do with OBS. Okay, now open it back up. Okay, now I've seen my audio signal. Everything's working fine. And I'm just going to just leave it on cam 2 because then you'll see the monitor and see my reboot and all that stuff. I've got my whole profile in there. I can do anything. If it would work right, I could do anything on this machine that I could do on mine. Okay, so I'm going to hit start stream. And it should, you know, I can't remember where. It's somewhere on your YouTube admin. It tells you that you have a backup stream ready to use. I'll have to go over there and look now. But it's streaming, and I also record a backup video on this machine like I do on mine. So it will be making a video. And I think I'm not sure where I want to put it. In case I have trouble getting out of over to my system monitor, I'll leave it on system monitor. And I should be able to go ahead and go about my business now. Kind of a funky way to have to do it, but at least I can do that. My wire for my lapel mic is getting off in the wrong place. I felt it hitting my leg. I didn't want to get tangled up in it. Okay, so back to, I'm going to go to my desktop. That's what I'm going to be doing anyway. But yeah, my website, this will be what I'll be getting into after I go through this machine and what I'm going to do on it. But my website's been up ever since I got the Acer, you know, up and running with my website on it. And of course, it hasn't been 17 days. It's been 3 or something like that. But it never went down long enough for the monitor. This is it only checks every 30 minutes automatically. So the other one, it checks like I think every 5 or 10 minutes. I think this one you just have to. It doesn't have the options to go 30 minutes, I don't think. But that's good. I mean, I want to go at least every 10 minutes. 5 minutes, sometimes I get too many notices. This one always thinks my Dawn Songs is down, and even though it's not, it won't be down in the other monitor, and I can go to it. You got to be careful about just going to it because, you know, when your server's on your own local network, you may be going through your local network instead of out through the internet. That's why I use these monitors. But this one does something funky. It's always saying Dawn Songs is up and down. Now sometimes these, like when it says 0 hours or 1 minute or whatever, that's because I was rebooting my routers and my modem and everything. But Dawn Songs will say it was down for very long periods of time, 5 hours, and it worried me for a long time and kept trying to fix it. And I finally realized it's not actually down. But I wanted to show. I guess I'll close the browser for right now. Stream health went a little bit. Oh yeah, I didn't mean to close the browser. Let me look at, well, let me open it back up so I can show what I'm talking about. The browser uses so much resources, and while I'm streaming, I have to be careful about how much resources I use on this machine. Any machine, really. Right now, for instance, that 8-core, but I think it'll be fine when I get the new motherboard. That ASRock motherboard was made right at the beginning of 8 cores, and this 8300 is a newer one, or one of the last ones they made, I guess, and of the FX series. And it will run on it, but it's not in the supported list. But the Zeus one, M5A78LM Plus, I'm looking at the box. No, I don't know that out of my head. It seems to be a real good choice according to the you know, the internet, according to the internet. So where am I going? Oh yeah, completely forgot how to get where I'm going. There we go. Dawn's live dashboard. That's the quickest way I could do it. I don't like those things up there all the time, so I always get rid of them. So here's what my stream is doing, and it's been doing that for months now. It used to always stay green all the time for like a year straight, and hardly ever go bad unless there was just something wrong with my internet or something. But my internet's, I tested it today. I tested it on the ASRock, and since I'm only running on a 100 megabit Ethernet card, a PCI NIC, it was only doing like 94 megabits. And of course, our download on our ISP is 200 down and 12 up. So, and I got 212 down and 12 up or something like that on this machine. And I'm going to test the ASRock because I realized, well, I went back and looked. I did a test in the command line. There's a called CLI speed test. It was 200 down and almost 10 up. And I thought, wait a minute, that means that thing has a gigabit Ethernet instead of 100 megabits. Because if it's 100 megabits, you're not going to get more than that on your speed, your internet speed test. So, I don't know. I know there's a place where you can see that your backup stream is there and ready to use. Maybe it's set it inside of OBS Studio, but it should work. So let's just get back to business now. I don't know what to do but close that until I need it. Okay. Yeah, I'll go. I may have to split this up in 2 videos. I've got things ready, and then I realized with that OBS not working so good in that machine, I need to do what I need to do on here first. So what happened here is the last time when I set up, okay, I ran the commands. Where is it? there's the speed test commands. Yeah, that's a different thing. Anyway, I'm not going to show them. There's no point. But I ran the commands to tell Apache httpd is the process to run. I'll get over here now because this is what I'm going to be talking about. I ran it. I was trying to run it with a remote shell, and I've talked about it in my last 2 videos, so I won't go into it in detail. Am I not? All of a sudden I see my monitor, but I don't see it in the desktop view. I think I went to the backup stream. What in the world? Something go wrong with this one? I wonder if sometimes this machine is the problem, because, you know, like I say, I try to be careful not to overwhelm things. But I can see that I'm still streaming, and everything seems fine as far as that goes, but it is the camera view. Huh. That's not something I expected. And I get what happens normally when I only have this one machine streaming. It waits for, I think, 30 seconds or more before it, because it does cache the video. See that what the viewer is seeing, what you're seeing live, is behind what I'm streaming. So it has a little leeway there, a little cache fall back on. But I guess if this one that wasn't feeding it out fast enough, then it would that one just took over. That might be some insight into that problem I've been talking about. Because it's been doing that, but I haven't changed. Well, yes, I have changed something, and I want to be able to show it though. So, just the idea of being able to show my reboot was just kind of a fun side track, you know. I really just want to show you what I want to show you. When I ran the commands, I'll tell it, and then I'll try to fix it here. When I ran the commands to get the ASRock to start Apache, you know, when it boots up, I accidentally ran them on this machine because I had lost connection to the remote connection, and so I was actually, I didn't know that I haven't been in the practice of using remote shells. I had been doing it quite a bit here in the last 6-8 months, but I was mostly using the one in cockpit, and it's only a remote shell. Well, a regular shell, you know, you type in the commands, you log into a remote machine, but I rebooted that machine, that ASRock, because I did something and I wanted to reboot it. Well, when I did, of course, I lost connection to it, and I needed to log back in, but I wasn't reading all the output, and I just thought I was still connected to it. I ran the commands and then ran them on this machine, and I didn't even remember that I had at some point I was running the group installs, and I installed Apache Web Server, so it activated it. Now it boots up, and it's got like 20 httpd processes running, which I can feel I can tell by the way the machine runs it's slowing it down, so I don't need that extra stuff running, but I wanted to show it since it was all part of these previous videos what happened. And so since I'm on a backup stream, let's see, trying to think, I guess I'll leave this machine just like that on my system resource window. And I don't know, I guess I could stop this one. Let's see, because it's not actually, this will affect my recorded video, but it won't affect my stream. I'll stop this one and start it again, because maybe that'll help it. And then I will go over there, and I'll have to stop that. Only way I know to make, in order to get this one back as the main stream, primary stream, I'll have to stop that one over there. So stop this one and stop the recording, and I'm going to leave it on the desktop. Now, and of course, it didn't do anything to my stream because I wasn't streaming from this one after all. It's still yellow. It never changed from that. Maybe, I mean, unless there's something wrong, like, okay, my speeds are good, right, on my internet, unless there's something wrong. I do know that sometimes I have to reboot my modem quite often, and my router when I'm streaming and stuff. Even though my internet speed tests are fine, that there's something about, you know, it just fills up the cache or memory maybe in cache on these devices. and if you reboot them, then they're fine. But I won't try that right now because I did that right before I started all this, so they should be all right. I'm going to get back over on the let's see, mouse. What's that on my screen? It's my pencil that I use to switch my KVM switch. I can't reach it. It's behind the monitor, and I can't get to it with my hand. So I'm actually still on the system monitor in this machine, and OBS is doing fine. It's doing FFmpeg is running. It doesn't show any, and then the CPU usage is about 19%, about the same as it does on my machine, which it really shouldn't be that much on an 8-core compared to a quad-core. And the program is doing okay right now, so I can actually switch, to different scenes. So now I'm on the desktop. So this is what I was just talking about, the system monitor. I'm just showing OBS there, and that'll show you that anything else that's running along with OBS, which is FFmpeg, that's what's doing the encoding for the stream. And that's not what the problem is. See, there's nothing to do with that shows up. I mean, I've never, well, if I have sat, it's been a long time, sat and watched and tried to see if there's any process getting unruly, but I don't see any. But did I start mine back up? I meant to start it right back up. Then when I kill this one, mine will take over. Let's put this one back on the camera again. Right now I can still do that. But with me, I didn't think about that. I should have. I was messing with the audio settings and everything, and it's really a good idea once you've changed settings to close OBS and open it back up. No matter even on, my machine where it generally works good. But it's okay right now, so I'm not going to fix it. Oh, now the stream is green. I don't see how, he leads me to believe that my internet connection is not handling it, but I don't see how. It's only 1.5 to 2 megabits that it takes to upload a stream. And I've got 10, and today I had like 12 when I did my test. So, okay, so on this one, I think I'll leave it on desktop. I'm going to start the stream again, but it won't take over, I don't believe. And yeah, I got 30 frames per second. I was noticing that. I was in my test video, but on this machine, I pretty much always get 30 frames per second. That's what I target everything at. But on that other machine, I don't. Let's go to the camera too, so that I can still be showing what I'm doing, at least in a blurry view. Okay. So technical difficulties. What fun. Okay, so this one. Yeah, it's only streaming at 11.61 frames per second, and sometimes it'll go up to 20, 25, and then sometimes it'll go down to 3. So that shows you something's not working right. This is the ASRock now, and but it's still the one doing the streaming, I believe. So I'm going to stop this one and go ahead and stop it. Stop the recording. I have the recording not automatically stop, so that in case my stream stops, I won't lose my backup video. So now I'm gonna let's put it back on cam 2 because might get confused. Now I'm gonna close OBS and open it back up. Now my stream is, my preview page is reloading over there. It may not have finished reload. Let me give it sometimes I have to manually reload it to get it to show again. That might not have picked back up like I thought it would. It says welcome back, but I don't see the picture yet. Yeah, I don't think I see it still have 38. Well, it says negative 38. Something funky goes on with it. What did I find that was causing that? I think that's the time was being thrown out by the other machine when it was working. But anyway, I am streaming on my machine again because the other one's not running. So now I want to go back and I'm still on that machine. I didn't switch. I just yeah, it automatically took over. Okay, now I can open OBS again. and turn it on, and I'll have my backup stream again. And there is a profile. You can you go into the settings to tell it whether you want it to be a backup or a primary stream. I went ahead and saved me a profile. One is backup and one is primary, but it doesn't seem to make any difference as to what I thought you could do. Let's look in there and see before I start it up again. Whoops, that's the wrong thing. Settings. Stream. Backup YouTube ingest server. It sends it to a different server. And I thought you could start this first and then start your primary stream. It would make sense to have it running first, right? But when I did that a while ago, it just started streaming because I was watching my preview over there. So I went in and stopped it, started mine, and that's why I was including you did that all in the video, because it seems to be the only way you can get it to work right is to start your primary stream and then start your backup stream. I thought when I first tried it, you didn't have to do that. Anyway, I'm going to start my backup stream, and now it's up and running again. And I think I'll do that again. I'll go back to my system monitor, so if the machine tries to start freezing up, I'll be able to close it. Because if I'm in the middle of, I guess I could hard shut it down, but I wouldn't want to do that. But if I'm in the middle of this stream, I don't want to mess anything up. Now it's all green again. But that is cool how you can have a backup stream. And actually, what turns out, I figured out, if you have them both running at the same time, if you shut one down, the other one just automatically takes over, no matter which way you've got it selected in the settings. But there used to be, when I first started using it, there was a point to it, and I thought there was anyway. So anyway, let's see if we can get on the desktop again. And if it gets on the desktop, then I'll know for sure I'm streaming from this machine. I might have to quit doing that if I keep having trouble. Yeah, I see the desktop. I'm eating a cough drop. Probably hearing that crunching. Well, that was the last of it. You know, when it gets so small that you get tired of waiting on it, I guess. Okay. Don't hear the audio. Oh, I bet because I had to reload it. And then it mutes it, which is good. You don't want it playing in when you don't. There we go. Okay. Okay, so now that we're back up to a normal working condition, here is the system monitor in the Lenovo i5. And here is all the processes that Apache's running in this machine. I don't know why so many. I guess these web servers I've been setting up, I've been putting Make Desktop on them, but I'll have to go look and see in this same app. Or it doesn't matter, but this one you can just search and quickly see which. That's one thing. This is one you have to go find and install. It's my favorite, but it's a KDE app. It's just tap in there. That's about KDE. Okay, I must. About System Monitor. This one is called. It's KDE System Monitor. That's what it is. And so I usually don't install. I haven't been installing it, and except for on my desktops, because I need it. I like to use it all the time in there, but on the servers and stuff, I don't. Or the other machines, I'm just kind of playing with. I don't go to more trouble, So that is using up. Well, let's see. Each section of memory. It's only 2.6 megabytes. That's not too bad by whatever. That's quite a few. Man, I don't know. That's 20 something. And then some of the others aren't near as much, and it's not using up CPU at all. Of course, there's nothing being read. I don't have a website. I don't think there's anything under Apache. Oh, it comes up the same way. If you do Apache, you'll get, and if you wonder, what services run under Apache? Well, it's httpd. If you type in Apache, now there's a couple of new things, PHP stuff. So you don't want any of that running unless you want to run a web server. I didn't even realize I must have caught that with some of those group installs I did. And if there was anything I would want, it would be SSH. Oh, I do have a SSH running. Do I have a SSH server on this thing and I didn't realize it? I'll have to check into that. I might have installed it, and I probably don't have the port open though. But there's lots of times when I'm working, I really wish I could SFTP into this thing. Let's see, very secure FTP. Well, I don't. It doesn't show up to be running very secure FTP. Yeah, I think I've got SSH, something to do with SSH, but I don't have very secure FTP running. I don't think I ever installed it. It probably just didn't get. Well, I didn't do it on purpose at first. But the more I work and need to transfer files back and forth, sometimes I don't. I need to be able to go to this machine, not just from this one to the other. So this is a machine with all my backup drives. Sometimes I want to back something up. Sometimes I need to get something off of the backup drive to use. That's how I used to always set up all my machines, but I quit doing it. Well, like I said before, because it got to where you had to go look through, run commands, and edit config files and all that, and I got tired of messing with it. At that end, I started kind of worrying. When I used to run FTP server on my website, people were constantly running scripts on it trying to log into it when it was just a read-only. There wasn't no login, you know, and I never saw. I would look at my logs. I never saw anybody. It was always, you know, they failed to log in because I thought, well, maybe they got to know about a hole that I don't know about, you know, and they log into my machine and tear it up. But they never did. But it's using up my bandwidth, and I had a lot less bandwidth back then. Like before we had 200 down and 10 up, then we had 60 down and 5 up, or 4. It was really 4 up, but we generally got 5. And before that it was less. But I think, I don't remember how long ago when I quit using. I just quit running FTP server altogether. Just my website, you know. So because of all that, but I ran it for at least 5+ years, 5-6 years. So I need to turn all that off and reboot. That's my whole long story here. First I'm going to go in the GUI and see if I can do it from the startup management. Startup, it's in personal. Startup, you would think it would be in administration, but it's in personal. And I guess I'll have to kind of keep an eye on that preview screen. If it goes to monitor again, you won't be able to see what I'm. Right now, I'm still streaming my desktop. I can see that. So let me see if I can make this a little bigger. All right. Look through here. Geo clue. I don't know what that is. Oh, it's probably some G. I don't know. I'll worry about that later. Let's see. I probably looked it up before and forgot what it was. Usually I take things out that I don't want running. For instance, Bluetooth is always running by default, but I don't have, and Blueberry, those are both for Bluetooth. Well, I don't have any Bluetooth devices on this machine, so there's no point in that running. SSH agent, yeah. Oh, it's the keyring agent. That's what that SSH process was. VMware agent and volume. Okay, so the Apache doesn't show up in there anyway. So I'm going to have to go find the command to, it's probably the opposite, you know, just like the command to make it work was, yeah, that's when I was going to, I thought I was going to do that first, but I'll do that later. I've got the command saved for showing a list of network cards. I was going to check out the network cards on the Acer. So this is just in my general Linux command. I got some duplicates in there because I thought, oh, I want to make sure I can find it. Now it's confusing me. Speed test, desktop. Oh, there it is. It was somehow my eyes are crazy. I missed the top one. I thought it was the top one, and I was looking for it. I couldn't see it. I got up at about 9 or 9:30 this morning, got my breakfast and everything, and I imagine it was 11 or 11:30 by the time I got on the computer. And I've been working on getting all this up and going, is getting the audio all figured out and rewiring things, get audio to the other machine since then. Until I started this video. So I think I'm already about halfway out. So I think this is the terminal output where I accidentally rebooted. See, I didn't read the part up here when I was running my commands, and so what I did was I enabled where is that little command? There it is. Systemctl enable httpd. I can't say it, service. And what I didn't realize is right above that, oh, here it is. Lost connection to the remote host because I had rebooted the Acer. And I just thought what I did, I even triple checked. I went up here and, okay, yeah, I'm connected to it. Yeah, but that's not the last thing you did. I was just making sure I had two terminals open, one local, for me, in my mind, one local and one remote, which it was fine until I rebooted the Acer, and then now it was local. And so I ran this command on my machine, and so then so now I have all that stuff running. So yeah, I'm down. Oh, and this is where I ran it in the remote shell again. I just went ahead and pasted that the next time, in here, and explained what was going on. So that's where I ran it again in the remote shell being connected to the Acer right there. So what I think I'll double check on let's do this. I think I know what it is. I think it's that same command with disable. There we go. Let's see. Enabling the service, disabling the service. Let's go ahead and try to put that in the same folder with that other stuff. That would be good. Let's see. Yeah, I'll just put it. I might change the name of it a little bit. All right, here we go. It's actually from Fedora 7. This, if you look over here, that tells you what version of Fedora you're in, and sometimes it won't be right, but sometimes it's fine. But see, I was just Google searching, so But I did put Fedora 28 in there because that helps you find more pertinent stuff. Let's look at this one too, right quick. Yeah, this one's a newer. This is the older documentation. I don't know if it says in there. This is the older documentation. This I believe is the newer one. But services and name is important. These are just different. Yeah. Systemctl enable service name services, disabling. Systemctl disable service name services. So yeah, that's how you would do it. Telnet, yeah, okay, that's just an example. So I think I have it right. I didn't want to just run it and just see what happened. And where is IRQ balance? IRQ balance. That's interesting. There it is. Now let me try. This way I can copy and paste it into the terminal over there. No, it doesn't show it. Did I have it spelled right? I think I do. DISABLE. Okay, copy it. Now let's see. Unless it's EL. No, I think it is LE, isn't it? Well, let's find out. Disable systemctl disable service name. BLE. Okay. So now I can run the command. I think I'll just go ahead and put that in there. That's got other stuff, I think. Okay, so now I can run that command, and I might need more of these instructions here. We'll see. Okay, that's actually for the, well, maybe that's a good place to, I'm just going to put that like that. Good place to save that. Alright, now I need me a terminal over there. Let's see. Yeah, I still want to run it in the, well, yeah, because it's real hard. The copy and pasting doesn't work good in that cockpit terminal. I was thinking about using it. Just then you know for sure you're on the right machine. But oh, this needs to be run on this machine. Yeah. So you know I don't want cockpit. I want just a regular terminal. SU EPH. Whoop. Yeah, don't call out your password. I've always been worried that I'd do that without even realizing it. There's been times when I had done something wrong and I wasn't paying attention, and my glasses it's like I got something on them or something. And I was typing my password, like say Word, they were asking for the username or something, and then I had to end up changing my password after that video. Okay, so Control V doesn't work. I know there's a terminal that does, but I think maybe it doesn't have some other features that I like. I like this one real well. It works real well. Okay, now that's on this machine. Okay, disable httpd there. So it removed a line, ATC system D multi-user target wants HTTP service. Okay, so evidently it removed that from the ETC system D system multi-user target dot wants HTTP service. So now that comes up. You gotta it goes away too fast. Yeah, but that's not how I type it. I type it like that. Oh, and it's a little L. I don't use that too much because I'm usually done typing. Times my brain realizes that I just saw that quick thing. Okay, so now here's where all the rigmarole and messing around goes. I should be able to reboot, and you'll see it on the camera of me rebooting, and then I'll get back, into my normal shell. Let's see if there's anything else I wanted to do. I know one thing. I guess I could do it. No, because that machine may lock up on me. So I'm going to do that now. So I'll shut everything down. Let's see. Yeah, before I go to reboot, I need to stop my, I'll close the things I don't need right now. The shell. Okay, so stop this so that video won't get broken that I'm making, my backup video. And that will put you on the camera too from the, on the other machine. Hopefully, unless it quit working, but I imagine it's still working. Alright, I do have a yellow stream again. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and stop this. And it does, my preview does show, like, you know, it's like it noticed. Okay, now I see that it switched though. I saw that the preview was reloading, but it switched. So now I can reboot this machine. The thing is my backup, my lucky backup's going to want to run, and I can't stream even after getting rid of all those extra processes. I can't stream with lucky backup running. So I'll have to get in there and stop that service. This thing seems like it's a bit tired. It's taking a long time to reboot. It's just sitting there like that, and you know, you can see that I clicked the restart button, but it hadn't done it yet. So there could be some services that hadn't quite shut down yet, because I was hurrying up and shutting all about 4 or 5 things at once there, right in a row. I mean, there we go. So it's a neat thing, but if it gets that busy, sometimes it gets that busy trying to make it work. That's why I don't do it very often. And the backup stream I'm talking about. But I thought that it would be worthwhile to show the process of, you know, disabling and getting rid of the configuration for the web server to run on your machine. If for whatever reason you might want to do it, maybe you don't goof up the way I did, but so while that's rebooting, I'm gonna get me a little chocolate. Cool. I learned something new today that I hadn't tried, and that is that I'm trying to listen for my sound. Oh, it's so far behind, that's why. I'm waiting for me to talk, and I realized, well, I can hear me banging around. I can see my head, so it's that far behind. Oh, now the stream's green. I think it seems like maybe my upload may not be working as good as I thought it did. Just because I supposedly have 10 megabits, that doesn't mean it's, I don't know. I mean, the speed tests seem to be pretty good about showing you what you actually have, but and before I had 200 and all that, before I had 10 up, I didn't have this kind of trouble. I could do a backup stream and a regular stream. This is where this machine hangs up. I didn't want to smack while I was eating my chocolate, but it says running dev mapper Fedora Lenovo i5 2-swap device. It says 41 seconds / 1 minute 30 seconds, and it says no limit. It keeps changing, and it'll go through pretty much all the partitions. And then finally, I think it gives up. And I still haven't figured out. I mean, my partitions are all mounted when it boots up. And it says it failed. Everything's mounted. My swap seems to be active and working. Yeah, it goes swap root. It keeps changing. Swap root, swap root. I don't think it does home. It just is swap and root. And then it finally gives up after, you know, I don't know, 30 seconds, a minute. And then boots on up and runs fine. But and I think it started after I installed a bunch of stuff from the group installer that I found that I thought looked cool to try out. Now, it went away before I can. It always goes away quicker than I can read it. It says something about it. It says depend, so there's a dependency not there. And I think it might actually have something to do with the virtual machine software I have on there, because it's supposed to be starting a kernel module that before that one it doesn't load up at the very top. Beginning, I mean. Yeah, it says, etc multipath config does not exist. Blacklisting all devices. You can run sbin Path config to create and modify etc multipath config. I did all that. I did every command in the logs that it said to try to run. They all ran successfully. Didn't change a thing. And now Fedora 29 is well on its way. You know, it's been out for a while now, and I've been using it as my server, so I'm just going to reformat this machine. I've just got other things I need to do more. You know, as long as this was running, I haven't fixed it. But it sure is a pain. Every time I reboot it, it takes this long. So I should have done it a long time ago. Instead of it, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. If it ain't completely broke, don't fix it. Because I'm just putting out fires all the time. Yeah, that's how I really operate. If it ain't completely broke, don't fix it. Wait till it's just flat out don't work no more. Now, let's see, I'm still on my backup stream, aren't I? Yeah, as soon as this gets up and running enough, I can get back on the desktop video, and then I'll probably stop the my preview quit loading, started reloading again. I guess I'll make sure it's working. That machine could be acting up. I almost forgot which machine I was streaming from. Yeah, and I don't have any HTTP. Yeah, now my lucky backup is script is running. I don't want that to get to running, but I do have 10 minutes before it starts. So, oh, yeah, before I switch, I'll try to get this machine back to being my server. Okay. Okay, now I'm up and running, but I still have to go turn off the other machine. Yeah, okay. So when it switches, I guess you'll see my desktop. I didn't think to put it on camera or anything. Let's see. Well, the program is still doing okay. Like, yeah, I can actually stop it. Okay. Now, I'm going to exit OBS and just leave this. It's not hot today. It's 63 outside and 77 in here with the window wide open, so that's perfect. I'll just leave the machine up and running in case I want to do that again. I don't think I do, but I closed OBS so it wouldn't be giving it any trouble. Now let's get back on my machine. Yeah, see the desktop. I don't know why that preview always wants to have to reload and act crazy. Seems like every time there's any kind of stream issues, it does that. And then I have to manually reload it because it'll sit there and try to reload. Sometimes it'll go ahead and work right, and then sometimes it'll do it for 10 minutes. And then if it's just sitting there trying to load, then I don't know. The green line seems to be green or yellow or red line seems to still work, but I need to see it and hear it to know for sure. So I'm going to get that all working again. Make sure. There we go. So this is turning out to seem like it's more like about OBS, the workings of that. I'm trying to get another drink of coffee, and I didn't know it was empty. What am I going to do now? I usually don't drink coffee this late anyway. Actually, what will happen, it'll sit there. My lips are bleeding. They're so dry. Let me get my... see how the processes are doing. Oh, I got to hurry up and do that. There we go. I need to get something... I put some more of that stuff on my lips. Let's see. Okay, so what do? I'm on the desktop, right? Yeah. So when you type in Lucky, you can see the script that's going to start it up. It hasn't started yet, so you're just seeing the shell script. But it also has, you got to go and right-click it and go jump to process. I've never seen it actually do anything, but I mean, I know it does it on others. I just haven't seen it. It goes to cron D, and that's what the cron job. That's a cron job that starts that script. So I need to end that, and I think there's more than one cron D's in there. Got to be root. Got to put in your root password. Now then, you still have the script running, so I haven't experimented with this, but to be safe, I just go ahead and kill the script too. Now, if you don't kill that cron D, then it will go. I think it'll go ahead and run if I remember right. Yeah, it will. It'll go ahead and run, even though that script was you thought you killed it. Yeah, see, there's still a cron process. You didn't kill cron. You killed the cron D process. It's the app is called cron. I don't know why they always put an end on the name of the process, but that's just what they do with most stuff and Fedora, and I guess it's just in Linux in general. But that's the cron is still running. I didn't kill cron, so anything else, I don't have any other cron jobs that I set up. Now there might be something the system has set up, so I think that's good. You know that that's the way I figured out. Seems to be a safe way to do that. So, all right, now there's no httpd, no Apache. So now I won't have all of my system running that stuff. And now I can go on and check out what I was going to show about the Acer server, the Acer laptop server that I've got. Let's see. Well, I'll just go to the camera for a minute. Okay, now I got to put. This is what I got to do. My lips are so dry; they're cracking and bleeding, and I'll just go back to the desktop so I won't forget to go to the desktop. And there's no point in me showing me doing this anyway. Did it the other day without really thinking. And at least now you know why. What's going on? Why I'm not a professional at the moment. Oh, I'm never professional, am I? I'm all for doing good work, but I will say some of these people work so hard at sounding professional that they're annoying when they make their videos. But there are such talented people on YouTube. They have such better skills and better equipment than I got. And that's why I didn't make. I wanted to have something like YouTube. I dreamed of how I could set one up back when the dial-up days. But I didn't know enough programming to set. I thought about trying to do it even if I knew I couldn't stream it on dial-up, I was into, computer video during those days, ever since it was invented, And I was into video ever since I did 8mm movies and snapshot cameras all my life, Anyway, YouTube came out, and I was excited. I thought, well, I wish I could have done it, but I was excited about it, and I joined it. And I thought all the videos I could make. And then, let me see, what do I need into? I guess I need a shell for getting over there into the Acer to start with. Anyway, but I wanted my videos to be perfect, pro quality. And because I had actually worked on a couple of cable TV shows, and I did sound for bands for about 12 years. And I had high expectations, but didn't have the money to buy the equipment, number one. And so I didn't do much at all for many years. And the last 5 years or so, I just decided I'll do the best I can with what I got. Maybe not even 5 years, maybe 3 years. Okay, so let me see if my to-do list will tell me anything about what I want to. It's mostly about the other things I need to work on, Yeah, I've got a little to-do list. Okay, nothing to do with this machine. I tried to put it in my head. Okay, I do know I want to show, what do I want to show? I want to show the machine itself. Let's just do that right now because that I can remember. Okay, so I'm going to switch to the lapel mics. And I'm going to get up there and show you how quiet that is. It's just so fantastic. I'm so finally, just thought I was on a rabbit, thought I might be down a rabbit hole. Make sure that my sound. I thought I might be down a rabbit hole with this laptop, but it's turned out finally. Get this camera and point it over at it. Figured out the other day that I think if I just leave it, the little tripod exactly like it is, you can see the whole laptop. Yep, it's a little crooked, but I don't care. Okay, so these are my bright light, you know, daytime or nighttime. That white right there drives me nuts. I mean, you can't see it very good, but there's a calendar up there. I think maybe I haven't ever started using it yet. I don't use it because so much trouble to get to them. Oh, it's not actually hung that well. Let's see. Let's just see if I can just get it off of there. I thought it was, you know. But yeah, I didn't ever flip it, and that's what I don't do. So I thought, you know what? If I put it, that's December 19. I need to go this way. There's some pictures in it that I think are kind of cool. And you can't see it, so there's a glare there, but that's a famous old picture is what it is. I don't remember. I think it might have been some, yeah, Saturday Evening Post. It was like in color is what really makes it look neat. I bet it was, I'm sure it was in black and white on the newspaper back in the day. That's from World War II. And it was somewhat, probably an article about looks to me like it was an article about the women and what they had to do during World War II while the men were gone, you know. They worked in factories and they worked at General Dynamics where I worked. And some of them were still there from World War II. Some of them never went back, never got to go and have the nice life of being a housewife. Some of them stayed, and some of them wanted to. They were fun. And there was an old fellow man that trained me some. He had been there since World War II. It was really interesting to hear the real life stories of what they wanted to tell, or some things they didn't talk about. Let's see, what is this? January. I'm flipping through this calendar now, aren't I? February. What is this? This is March. March. So, of course, just a standard calendar, no big deal. But I can do it like this. I don't want it matching. Oh, it won't stay. You know, it's one of those spiral things with the metal wire. All that white washes everything out. It won't sit there. I guess it might sit there that way. Yeah, it'll sit there like that. I don't want to have to look at any of that. I would like it if I could see just, I could see just up there. That's all I need to see. Luckily, this broken screen, all I actually need for this when it's a server is to see that it's up and running and that the logon screen is there and the cursor's blinking. Still got white right there. I'm gonna leave it like that. I kind of like the magazines had a nicer look to them. That's gonna not block the light very well though. I think I'm gonna go back to the magazines right now. I can see that I'm not gonna like that. So what else was my point here? Oh, how loud it is, or how loud it's not. Okay, now I don't know that I do have a compressor on this mic, so you may not be able to hear it at all. I can't hear it, and besides that, now we got a dog barking, and you may be able to hear that. But I'll take one of these mics, put it over there, around it in different places. Oh, the back is where there might be a, yeah. Now, if all you hear when I stop talking is that dog barking, then you'll know that that's really a quiet machine. Put it on the other side now. I'm not sure on the laptop where the sound really going to come from on this laptop. Okay. So yeah, that's the nice thing about these dual lapel mics. I can have one on me where I can talk on it, and the other one can be moving it around. Kind of cool. It was just something I realized after I got them that it would be useful. The idea behind them is to put one on one person and one on the other, which would be great. And since I'm using OBS Studio and it has built-in filters, they call them, I would call it effects. I've got a noise gate and a compressor on them. So otherwise I couldn't use them in this computer. I don't know if it's the computer or the little USB sound card, but I get a little bit of a buzz when there's no sound, and you'll hear a bit of that when I start talking. So that's why I thought, well, I could turn off the compressor for that little thing I just did, but then you'd hear that buzz is all. Excuse me. Oh, you'd really hear. This chair is so wore out that there's only one way I can turn the legs and then not feel like it's going to turn over. One or two ways, maybe. So thank you, dog. You finally stopped barking after I got done. The thing is, I wish you went ahead and continued, because half the time I hear that dog and it's driving me crazy, and it doesn't get picked up because of the compressors on my mic. So, but anyway, any of these other machines, and I was thinking about turning on that the red black BIOS star to show you the difference, but you know how loud a desktop is, and I've played it many times before trying to figure out the fan problems. So there's and the heat. I've actually been getting chilly every night now. And then at night or in the mornings, I'll be a little bit chilly. And the weather's about like, it gets cool, or like, well, it was 50, maybe it's probably down to 40, 45 at night. And yeah, yesterday it was 50 most of the day. Maybe it got up to 55 in the afternoon when I didn't pay attention. But today it's been a beautiful day. Made me want to go outside. It's a little cloudy. Actually had about 40 or 60% chance of rain, but I never did see it raining. And I do have the window open. I should hear it. But right now it's 6:04 p.m. It's 63 and 77.4 in here with the laptop running, the Lenovo 5, and the ASRock running with a 8-core 8300. And I've had it run for hours now. All this running for hours. And I'm just a bit cool because of this cool air coming in, 77 usually feels pretty warm with the window closed. And these computers, with the window shut and no fresh air coming in, and most of the time it doesn't help to open the window. But today it does. But they at 77.5 degrees, I feel pretty warm. And I swear, you wouldn't think, I don't know scientifically, I don't know science at all really, but I don't know how little heaters, could take away the oxygen, but that's what it feels like. I just get to where I don't have enough air to breathe. And of course I have to have the door shut and no circulation from the house, hardly, not much. When the air conditioner or heater comes on and blows air in, and sometimes the heater's on and it blows in and it just smothers me. And so then sometimes I'll open the window half the time I forget that'll help. Depends on what it's like outside. Sometimes it makes it worse, other than maybe giving you a little more. Obviously, if you've had a room closed up for a long time, you're going to breathe up all the oxygen, But I just need me some ivies in here or something, some plants, I guess, to make me some new oxygen. But then they'd probably die on me because I'm not good at remembering to water them. But or if I stuck them in a bottle of water, ivies would grow in water, I'd turn them over probably. Anyway, okay, so yeah, I don't have any more notes. I've done everything pretty much that I had written down. The laptop is running the server just like it should, and I was thinking, now that I think, I wanted to run that speed test. I want to see what kind of Ethernet adapters it has on it. That's what I want to know. So that's in the other folder when I was in, when I was thinking that was the first thing I was going to do. I don't have the browser open. Let's open it first. And I knew there was something I wanted to do. I'll just close one of those. But you know what? My stream's been green ever since I shut down this second stream. Maybe I don't have such a great upload speed like I thought, or the, I mean, okay, just because you have speed doesn't necessarily mean you have data throughput. I guess I don't know a whole lot about the different, you know, how that all works with each other, but I do know with plumbing, you know, or with electricity, like you may have and your battery, you know, very common. People probably run into that a lot. Your car battery, you got 12 volts or 12.5 volts, but it still won't crank the car because it's old and weak. It doesn't have enough amperage. Like I always think of as amp is the power, you know, and the volts is the volts. I just think I don't have anything in my head about how to compare volts, what to compare them to. But and like with the water hose, you know, if you're just running the water full, you gotta run the water full blast, and out of a water hose, it won't go all that far. But if you put your thumb over it, that gives it more power, more more pressure in it, but in a smaller. Smaller. You're making the hole smaller in the end of the hose, and so it shoots real far. So, and you can get a little pressure to wash things that way, you know, or you can put a little, you know, handle on there that does that. So, so maybe it's kind of that way with data too. You just because you have the speed doesn't mean that everything's working right for you to have. Well, I do know about data throughput. That's why I use that word, because I just don't know what all the stuff, when you look it up and you read about it, and if you see your data throughput in some application, I don't know what, that doesn't represent anything in my brain, you know, like I know what 12 volts are, I know what 10 amps are, or 2 amps mean something to me. I know how to compare it in my head, but I don't when it comes to data throughput and stuff like that. Okay, so we'll get over here on the I had saved this. This is a web page that I had saved on my how to show a list of network cards. I saved it for the commands. Okay. The first command lists all devices. The other one, all hardware. And next one does all hardware data from BIOS. Okay. And then I have command config outdated network config utility. Oh, IP command recommended new network config. Oh, okay. So the one type the following command. Okay, that's the first one. LSPCI, list all PCI devices. Okay. And at the end it says network Ethernet. So we're just focusing in on network Ethernet evidently. I never did log in on that machine yet. There we go. So I'm going to SSH root into my Acer laptop. Make sure I'm in that machine. Well, it wouldn't matter, but I want to, you know, I wouldn't, right now I'm not going to run anything that'll hurt it, but I'm on that machine. And I'm going to run my command. I'm going to make sure that I didn't accidentally copy any extra spaces or anything. That'll just foul it up. Okay, so what I got is Qualcomm Atheros AR928X wireless network adapter, PCI Express revision 1, and then Broadcom Net Extreme VCM 5764M gigabit Ethernet PCIe. How cool! I mean, it had to be if it got a 200 down, and it's on just a Cat5 cable. It's not on a Cat, 5e or a Cat 6 cable. So if I always thought would be so, I kept saying that it'd be so cool to be a back. Like now that I'm buying, I bought a real server and it'll be here in a week, 5 to 10 days. I'll probably end up putting my website on it, most likely. But I thought, boy, I could run that in here in my room as a backup server. I could put that 8 terabyte drive in it, probably since it's the biggest drive, or I could put the 5 terabyte drive in it. The ones in the those Seagate backup drives. Those darn enclosures and their cables, I've told many times about the cable, the proprietary connector that goes into the box itself. I think that is a good idea, because then you can't accidentally grab or just not realize that grabbing some cheap cable that's not made well, that could even be shorted out, could be shorted. A brand new cable from China can be shorted, quite common. And you plug that in there, it'll blow up your drive, it'll burn up your electronics. So you can plug in just a random, USB micro cable or whatever, because it has to have, it's standard USB, USB B, I believe is the standard first one that came out with in your computer, and it'll do USB 2 or 3, and then the other one is the proprietary one. But they made that connector, the metal part of it, the male part about 1/4 inch long. Well, that's not long enough to keep it from wiggling real easily just by breathing on it. And the connector itself, of course, is like most of them. The female one, they're both connectors. The female one inside, I'm sure it's probably, usually they, just talking and not really giving any demonstration here. Usually what they do is they have I don't know how to, the side of my hand here. Let's pretend that was a flat piece of sheet metal, and when they bend it, it's like that. And what happens is it opens up when your connector wiggles, then it'll end up opening it up. I don't know if you can really see that, but it's better to draw a picture or something. Maybe it makes sense, but doesn't take long on that. Not long at all. It was okay. I could tell, boy, that'd be easy to wear out when I first got it, and within a few months, it was just about to fall out of there. Now the new one is still about like the other one was when I first got it. That's because the 8 terabyte I got in November, and the other one is 2.5, 3 years old. It's out of warranty. The new one's not out of warranty. I hate to do anything to it. That was why I left them in the box to start with. But I had originally intended to take that 5 terabyte out of the box and put it in maybe the Lenovo F5 or something, and put my operating system on the front and the rest backup. But then, of course, that's, I quickly used up 250 gigabytes, so I would have needed at least that much. And I don't really like running my operating system on the drive I'm backing up on. That kind of kills half of what your backup, part of why you're backing up, your safety net that you're getting from backing up. So, and it worked so well as NTFS, I thought, well, I can plug that in. At the time, I had a Windows machine or two, and I could plug it into any machine I wanted. It wrote fast, but then it got to, when the power went out or something, or just randomly, sometimes the NTFS file system would break, and I'd have to go fix it. Luckily, I was able to fix it and didn't lose my backups, because that was my only backup, for a long time, and for a couple of years. And so that's when I decided to get another one when they had them on sale for $129 for that 8 terabyte. That's about, no, I think I paid a little less than that for the 5 terabyte. But anyway, a couple of years before. But those are they're just 2.5-inch SATA drives is what they are. Well, I've seen it. Well, I've actually don't know if I've seen pictures of them, but I've seen people, mostly in the Amazon reviews where I bought it, describing that and telling how they took theirs out and put it in something. Well, so either one of those drives should be able to just pop right into that Acer laptop, and since it's now that I see it's a gigabit Ethernet, that will be a good backup machine. That'd be awesome. I'm thinking ahead, and I don't know, because it may be once I get my server, I may really, once I decided to buy the server, it takes SAS drives or 2.5-inch SATA drives, and so I could put them both in there. Because I don't know if you realize, but when those servers were new, well, I don't know that particular model. I should look it up, I guess, but I mean, right now, if you buy a brand new HP server, it'd be like $250,000, maybe more. That's how much. Um, yeah, that seems like nothing could be worth that much, but no computer could be worth that much. But you know, they're built to last, and they run 24/7 for years and years until you know something better comes back out. And the thing with a big data center, you know, multiply the power usage of one server. You know, like I'm not sure if the one well in the pictures it said 750 watt. It showed 750 watt power supplies, two of them. But it never said that in the list. So those servers, I looked at all the specs of them on the HP, you know, website. They come with 420, 5 something I think, or 6 something, and then 720. So this is two 6-core processors with 64 gig of RAM. So it may very well have this 750 watt power supplies. If it'll run on two 420s, that's fine with me. Less power, you know, usage. But but they're supposed to have a lot of. They have technology in them that will automatically throttle them down when you're not demanding that power from them, you know, so that they don't use as much electricity. So anyway, that was my first thought once I decided to buy the servers, to just take both of those drives and put them in there. But now I realize I actually have another option. I could actually set up that backup server. I was thinking that I'd like that this laptop would be great for that. Because I had been thinking I was going to be using the ASRock or something. I mean the Net Pro Max, and out in the garage. You know, I don't want to put if I can stand the server in here. If it's, I know it'll be too loud when it boots up, when it first boots up, but it's going to be running all the time, most of the time. And then I saw videos and people stuck their mic up to it, you know, let you see, or their camera or phone. How loud they are, and they say, well, it's not really any louder. Some of them said it's not as loud as my desktop, you know, and I can see that because in their specs, their noise, just normal running noise is 20 dB. Well, you got to pay attention to get a fan that doesn't make 25 or 30 dB noise when you buy a fan for your desktop. So those are about as quiet as a PC fan as you can buy, 1920 dB. That I see these days. I used to see them a little quieter than that. Well, an 80 millimeter fan. Now, 120 millimeters are a lot quieter. Well, not all of them, but some of them are. But most of my machines need 80 millimeter fans. They're older, you know. So anyway, long story. After seeing that, that is cool. Let's run our next command now. Sample outputs. Well, we just looked at the. Okay, now the lshw command. Now that's a program I'm familiar with, but that if you just run lshw, if I remember right, it will just tell you everything to do with your hardware. But if you run a switch of --network, then I guess you'll just get the network stuff. I don't know if it's going to run some of them have a little graphic. Oh, did I do it wrong? I forgot to check and see if I have extra. Oh. Huh. Can't run that command in here. Maybe it's got to do with Fedora. Detailed information about hardware, machine including network cards. Okay, yeah, that's pretty cool. Don't know. I might try it without that switch. But before I get into that, let's start me a. You know how I like to back up? If you've seen a video of mine, you know how I like to back up everything I do. Talking about backup. Get us a little text file going. I wanna save the output. Partially, I do this for the. Let's see. let's see, I might take the title of the article or something since I'm running so many different. Yeah, I think I'll do it that way. Oops. Now, there we go. Hardware info. Excuse me. I don't mention it much. I like to tell what I'm doing because that's, you know, really what I'm trying to share information. Or I don't like to always say instructional videos because I'm not a real good instructor. I get so confused and mixed up. But I like to share what I've learned. See, that's it. Acer laptop. As much as I can. And it helps me. I always look back to these things. Sometimes my videos are so long, and I think, well, I don't want to spend a lot of time finding that spot, but I do put time links in the descriptions, by the way, as much as I can to key things I think are key things where things start, you know, like sections, you know, sectioning them up, so that I, you know, if nothing else, just so I can find them, those spots. But like sometimes I've done something I know in the last couple of months and I can't remember how to do it. And so usually I do a Google search. If I find it right away, I'll just do that. But especially while I'm making a video. But if I don't, sometimes there's things that really I went around and around with, and I can go back and watch my videos and see how I figured it out. But LSHW, yeah, I can do that. LSHW. Oh, maybe I don't have it installed. So let's skip that. That must be it. I must not have it installed. Okay. Hard to say I'll do clear, but that might log me out for all I know when you're on a remote terminal, so I'll leave that alone. I'll just have to, I don't want to install it right now while I'll do this other stuff first. That might be what it is I don't have. LSHW, that's hardware lister. You're just running it in the command line. I think I have that. Let's see. I can open it in. I've got something in every window. Maybe I don't have it installed. Let's see. Yeah, I might not have it installed, or I think he'd really just, I don't think he'd find it that way. Well, let's try. Let's do it. Let's try installing it, because I'll go ahead and get that command again for when but I think I need to install it. I really like that app. And I'm just made, let's see what else we got. ifconfig. Let's go ahead and, before I do that, let's go and finish checking out all the actual specific network commands. Let's see. To see all configured network devices, ifconfig A. Always try to remember to go back and make sure I don't have any spaces in there. Okay. So the trying to see which one was which. We do have IPv6 running, and there's the IP address of it, and I never use it. I've never seen anybody talking about it either, like hardly in articles or in on videos or anything. They said, well, the world's running out of IP addresses. We've got to have a new one for everybody to use. And we get them now, and the newer, you know, like for a long time they just ignored it and didn't even set them up in your network manager. Now they're set up, but still don't. Trying to see. It's just this IP address on this is the wired network. And then there's the IP. Yeah, I skipped that line for some reason, and then there's the IPv6, and so that's what it's got. And it's telling you about if there were any errors or drops or overruns, collisions, and all these sort of things. And then there's the loopback. I never have really got into understanding the details of how that works, but it's always a 127. It's usually always 127.0.0.0. And then there's IPv6. I guess that's another loopback of IPv6. And then it has to be there for things to work right. I know that much. I don't think you can just turn that off, say, if you went and found a way to do it. And then there's a WLP560. That's the wireless. I don't think I ever said that, but up here, when you see the model number of your Ethernet chip, that can help. That's what you need to know to find the right driver for it. If your Linux distro didn't install, or if your Windows system didn't install the driver automatically, or you didn't have the CD or or whatever ISO with the with the drivers, then you need to know the chip. Especially in Linux, you need to know that chip to know what driver to put on it. You can't just go get a. You probably won't find it if you look for NetExtreme. Well, if you look in the Linux repos, you won't find it under NetExtreme. I can almost guarantee you that. But if you look for BCM56704M, you may find it. If it's there, you'll find it. If they have it, you'll find it. Fedora or Debian. And then same thing with the. It would be there's the. IR2928X Atheros. Now you do want to pay attention. See Qualcomm Atheros. You want to pay attention to the brand. But for instance, that's more common as your well, I don't know if it's more common anymore. Like my ASRock. You know, the gigabit Ethernet adapter won't work with the 8300 processor, but it used to work with a dual core processor I had in that motherboard. On the Fedora 26, but I may have had to manually install the driver too. I cannot remember. But anyway, this is what's so great about these commands, is to help you figure that stuff out. That one there especially. And there's some more you can run to get more details about the hardware. That I'll find them sometimes and then I'll lose them. I try my best to save them like I'm doing right now, and then I try to go find them again on my machine and I can't. Can't find them. Now there's the OR IP link show, so let's see what we get with that. Can't believe, well, it is late. Oh, it's 6:30. I was like, I'm really getting hungry. I'm gonna have to. I'm not gonna go very much longer on this video. I don't have much else to do, and then I guess I'll eat my supper. Okay, so now I'll loop back. I'm not gonna read every bit of it. I'm not good at reading the stuff anyway out loud. And then VPN, okay, that's the wired, and then the WLP 4050. They used to always call it ETH-O, and now they're using ENP, and I don't know, there's a couple different things they're using. I don't know why they changed it. It'd be ETH-O. If you had more than one card, it'd be ETH-O, ETH-1, you know, and like that. And then your wireless would be always something that you could tell it was wireless by whatever they used. I don't know if they used double LP or what, because I don't mess around with the wireless very much, even if it was, you know, I had wireless. Usually on my other machines, I think I'm, oh yeah, I never have set it up on the Dell 6000 in Debian 8 because you got to do it manually, and I just haven't done, well, I haven't done it because I don't want it another thing is I don't want it taken over and I have a slower connection for me watching the, you know, my live stream and all. That's what I use it for mostly. All I really use it for anymore is my live stream. But if I used to sometimes watch video with it, I had to plug it in. It has an S video output, and plug it in and watch my on the regular CRT TV over there, which I never use anymore for the last 2 or 3 years. But anyway, that's QDisk, non-Q state up, mode dormant, group default, QLin. Now this is dormant. I know that already because as long as the wired connection in the Fedora server. That's the way it's been. I mean, I just learned this. As long as the wired connection is working, it doesn't do anything. But if you unplug the wired, it'll start taking over, and that's actually a cool thing. It would be your backup. But now the speed, I'll bet you there's something to tell you the speed. I just realized that. I kept saying I wish I knew the speeds of them. Of course, if it says it's gigabit, you know that. But what about the wireless? What can it do? It's probably a command that can tell you that. The loopback, it just says unknown on the state, and then the wired, it says up, default, and so on. Oh, and then glin, and at the end it says 1000. I bet you that means that it's gigabit. That must be the, I'm just guessing, qlen. I said glen. I see everything backwards. Okay, so now IPA. We'll see what IPA does. It gives you different information, each one of these commands. So it's kind of good to run them, each one of them. IPA link show. Let's see. I didn't say link show. I just said IPA. So what is it? I must be needing to go up higher. Where is it where I typed IPA? Oh, that says IP link show. That was the last one I did. Okay. Where is it? To me, all that, it gets buried in there, and it's hard for me to find my last command. I guess I could do something like hit enter a couple of times so I could have more, you know, that would just give you another command prompt. There it is. IPA. Okay. And the loopbacks just doesn't say much about it. Oh, at the end of that it says qlen 1000. Well, I guess it's still on the same hardware. Yeah. 127. And then does it give more information? Some of it is stuff I don't know what it means. And then the wired, the ENP5SO is what it is. S0. Up group. Then that looks like, I don't know what that is. There's a long number with letters and numbers. And there's the IP again. And then the wireless. U1500. I don't know, that 1000 may not mean with the speed of it because it says that on the wireless, and I'm pretty sure that this old laptop wouldn't, if it had something faster than 54 megabits it might have. I don't know what they go up to after that. I don't think it'd be a gigabit. Yeah, since I don't know, I'll just tell, well, now that I know what it is, I can go look it up though and see what it does. I can just go Google it. Okay, so, and then sample outputs on that, and then procnet dev has network device status information, gives number of received sent packets. Oh, okay, errors. Okay, cat. This is a file, so it's cat. I've already forgot. I looked it up once, I think, what the cat command does, but basically, it's like a text viewer in the terminal, but you can edit. It's not just a text viewer because you can edit with that command too. And as a matter of fact, if you do some certain commands, it will automatically edit that text file without you having to, you know, typing it or anything. If you type the right commands. Procnet dev. So the file must be dev. So it's in procnet. Where's the proc folder? Maybe it. Remember there being a proc folder. We'll see. Yeah, there it is. I just don't ever get in it. Proc folder right there. So procnet dev. There's no dev file in here, but there's a folder dev SMP. So maybe it's actually going to that folder, but not that folder because that's a different. This system doesn't seem to have the same thing. This is Fedora 28 and it's not a server. Get back in I leave that in the videos folder so that I can monitor my backup video. Every once in a while I'll look in on it, make sure it's still being made. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm pretty sure I copied it already, but do this again. Procnet dev. Now, there we go. T3 IP link show. Oh. There it is. It's just, that's all it is just this part down here. So oh, packets, errors, everything. So that's what that does, but it doesn't keep on reading it like some apps do. It just gives you one snapshot of it, I guess, what's going on right for a brief millisecond there.
That's what that
Now that could tell you, if you know, especially if you understood every little bit of that, it would tell you a lot. But you could still get a general idea, just not really. I mean, if you know that what packets, and errors, and drop, and well, compressed, multicast. I'm just reading off the ones that I kind of have an idea of: bytes, packets, errors, drop. FIFO, I don't remember what that is. COLLS, calls, I don't know. Carrier, I don't know what I would do with that. Compressed. And I believe compressed would just be if the file is, well, I don't know. With files, of course, it's if they're zipped or, you know, zipped or tar-gz or whatever. If they're compressed files, but I don't know what that means with packets. But anyway, okay, so let's go. That was the end of that. Good article. I was going to say I need to bookmark that, but I have it bookmarked somewhere. I'd need to find it. That wouldn't do me any good. That's the saved one on my... I guess I can look in my... let's see if I have it in my bookmarks already. If I do, then I won't have to go any further. If I don't, then yeah, I have it somewhere. So yeah, we could actually just go to it. Oh, why did it open it up in a whole nother? Oh, because that's the only thing I had open. It didn't do another, it just did. So yeah, I already have it open. Wait, I was going to say, is there like a whole bunch of blinking ads? Some of these, even though I have AdBlock Plus, I still get blinking ads sometimes. And there's a Linux shirt. That's actually not a bad looking shirt. How about that? So I guess that's what they're doing to try to make some money. Everybody's got to make some money. Okay, so the lshw, I think it's because it didn't work because I don't have it installed. So I think since I've already ran that a couple of times in here, I'm going to just run it again, and then I'm going to get my error, and then I'm going to run and then I'm going to paste in, rather than me messing up the type, and I'll paste in the whole command, and then I'm going to delete everything but lshw. DNF install lshw. Pretty sure I just don't have it installed. Because once I looked at that a few times, I was like, I know what lshw is. It's the one that I had so much trouble remembering. I'm pretty sure it's hardware lister is what the name of the app is. Now, do you want to? Yes, yes, I do. Let's see. Let's read that before instead of just saying yes. Yeah, installing lshw. And do you want to download 307 kilobytes? I don't know if I got the space for that. I still love how small Linux applications are. So, I mean, it's smaller than a Windows 3.1 application. Well, I guess it's about the same. But, okay, we're installed, complete, and it worked. Okay, so now let's see if we can do that. Yep. There we go. That's all we needed to do. Could have done that a while ago. I just thought it might take too long. That's why I didn't do it. Okay. Where did it go? Install lshw. Installing. Oh, I keep thinking, okay, now lshw class network. Now let's see what we get. Wireless interface. ARX. So-and-so. I won't read it again. Qualcomm. Clock 3300 megahertz. That's the processor on it. And okay, and then the Ethernet interface, the next stream Broadcom. So it just, I thought it might be a live readout or something, but it's just the information about that particular command. You know, it's just the information about those things, that hardware. I realize now that I don't know why I didn't think of this before. I'm sure you could find the commands to tell you the speed of your hardware, or since that seems to me like it might take longer than doing this, I think I'll look them up in Google, the hardware. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to repaste everything that I've done now in there, all in one little thing, and then I'll have that for my records. Now, the white background does, in some ways it's easier to see, but like my eyes are used to looking at the dark background, and I can really read in there better. Okay, so this one is, let's see what this one is. And I'll leave that like it is for now. Well, actually, I don't guess I need it. It might be a good. No, I am streaming, and I need to watch out how much. Sometimes it's not the page. It's that's just probably HTML and all the text and everything, but no telling what any of the other media on there might do. Even when you got ad blocker. Now there's the says download the driver right there at the top. That's mostly what people want. Let's see if I have anything. I should have a couple. That's the BIOS hard drive stuff. Admin IPs. I guess I'll make me another folder, but let's see, how am I going to do that? I'd like to get oh, I need, yeah, okay. Okay, now I don't have anything open yet, so I'll save all these, everything open here. Okay, now this is probably their site. I'm not sure. Oh, unofficial Qualcomm drivers website. Okay. Yeah. Let's see if there's anything about Linux. No, not there. Okay. This is about Ubuntu, so that is Linux. So they say their Wi-Fi driver, they had it. This is a Qualcomm. Probably not the exact same one, because we're not looking up the wireless. We're looking up the wired. Oh, we are looking up the wireless. I guess got mixed up. They're in earlier it was wired and then wireless. Now it's wireless and then wired. So okay, this is the Qualcomm is the wireless. So I don't do Ubuntu, but I do use Debian. So of course I don't know that I'm putting Debian on this system, but I'll just open a few just to okay, what I wanted to know was the speed and all that stuff, and I just saw an Amazon link to where you could buy one, so that would probably tell you the speed too. Anyways, there might be something in there, but I'm just gonna. A lot of times, 150 megabits, what it says on the ad right there. So it's faster than, yeah, that's the next one. I already kind of knew that. The next one up is 150 megabits, and that was something I was thinking about. You can really there's usually a little door on a lot of these laptops to get to the wireless, or you don't have to take much of it apart to get to the wireless, and you can buy a new one and change it out. So I thought, well, if you could get something close to a gigabit wireless and put in these, any of these laptops. And let's see what the buying options are. $12.50 and $5 shipping. So, I bet you could do better than that. Something that old, but well, sometimes when they get too old, they're hard to find. But so they might not. I'm just got myself curious now. I'm just opening up things to see what they are. I think that's just talking about how do you, probably asking them how do they install them. There's another driver. Oh, that's Driver Genius. I don't know. I see it all the time nowadays, but I don't. Really, you just want to go to the. Usually, they're just trying to buy some kind of Windows driver finding software or something, and sometimes it turns out to be malware. You got to watch out. So I usually just go to the. I look for the. There's one about Arch Linux. And I didn't put Fedora or anything in there, and I didn't even put Linux in there, but select all. I think I already made my folder, didn't I? No, I didn't make my folder yet. Well, I'll do that and then I'll rename it with the close other tabs. The name that I just got, I went to all that trouble to get that in my clipboard and then didn't end up using it, but that's all right. I'll get it again. Now, there we go. But as long as it seems to be working like it should, and it's gigabit. I can't believe that machine's been under the bed all these years and it had a high gigabit. Of course, it didn't matter before because we didn't have fast enough internet, or I didn't have but a there were gigabit Ethernet was out. I was running on 100 megabit routers, so it didn't matter. But now it matters, especially when you want to make backup or do any big files. Videos are big, when I make videos all the time. So now then, the BCM is Broadcom. So even though it's called Net Extreme, it's a Broadcom chip. I know that from a lot. Well, it says right down there, vendor Broadcom. But I think I'll just go that part right there. So manufacturer, they call it the vendor in here, but the vendor, the manufacturer is Broadcom. Okay, now. Ethernet adapters, Broadcom. Now see, that was the first thing to come up was the Broadcom site this time. Let's see. Down for today's enterprise and cloud scale environments. Next stream on a laptop. PCI NIC and OCP 2 and 3.0 form factors. Supporting configurations range from 1G to 200G. Oh, okay, this is just kind of their general spiel. That's not this particular. Let's see if this one has any. Oh, VCM 5764. That's not it either. What we got there? Ah, here's a whole list of them. 5764M. 5764M. I don't see it. 5764M. I typed it right. Not in there? I thought I was going to get to see it for sure. Oh, no more results. I can make mistakes so easy. Let's copy that. Paste it. I can look at it and think I typed it and I didn't get it right. But I believe I did this time. Yeah, it's not on that page, so I'm closing that. But they're well, they range from 10 megabits to 1 gigabit. And there's one up there, 200 at the, and then this one's 1 gigabit to 100 megabits to 10 megabits. So well, that's that one I said is a wrong number, so probably no point in clicking on it. Yeah, a completely different number. I guess I could search on the site. It's probably going to be a depreciated. What's this? Dell. Well, this is an Acer, so I won't go there. Broadcom Net Extreme. Let's see, what am I looking at? Yeah, Net Extreme. 764. Oh, that's a PCI card. And I guess I should have put onboard in that search. Let's see. That's a PDF, but that is like not Broadcom. It could be from them. It says hp.com. WW1. I'm not even gonna go with that. I'm just looking for the actual one. I'm looking for the one that's in this machine. But a lot of times you won't find it under the brand of your machine, you know, Acer or Dell or whatever. Well, Dells you'll find a lot in HPs because they're so big, but Acer, you know, they're pretty big, but like I said, the chip is the key, not the manufacturer of your laptop or whatever. In this case, it's a laptop. Oracle. So I would say our best information is, if they've got anything at all, it's going to be on the Broadcom site. If they have a search, yeah, they do. And that's just the spiel anyway about their products in general. There we go. Now we're finding it. PCM 5764M. Well, guess what? No, we're not finding it. None of those results have that. So, let's try changing our search results. Yeah, get rid of that extreme gigabit Ethernet. Let's just search just for that. Then maybe we'll find it. Programmer's Reference Guide. Don't think that's what I want either. Looks interesting, but there's VMware. They're probably talking about how to make them work or something. Broadcom Corporation. Okay, let's see. This is the VMware Programs Guide. HP 7800 workstation. Yeah, that's talking about getting that thing to work for whatever reason. Well, this is that site. I don't remember seeing this site ever before, but HNode. I don't remember that little icon or anything. Anyway, let's see if we're actually on the page. Yeah, this is. I think I might have had this page open for some other reason a while ago. There it is, gigabit Ethernet. I already knew it was a gigabit, of course, but this is device information. Really, this looks like the stuff you're getting from running those commands right here. So, it's not, you know, this is not, I'm not needing to, I'm just doing this for, just to show what you can find. So, forgot to get my whole search is gone. How did that go? Oh, because I did a new search. So, oh, that one still has it in there. That's what I want on my folder. That and the Acer, so I'll know it goes in the Acer. Laptop. So I'm really pleased. Could have figured that out a long time ago if I'd have tried. I don't know why it didn't really dawn on me that I remember to start looking these up. I kept saying to myself, "Oh, it wouldn't be any good. It's just gonna be 100 megabits, you know." Or making a back. Well, I mean, it can't be a lot of a backup server. I'm already past just one big drive, you know, for what I need. But it could be. It could be used if that's all you needed. And I don't know. I'll see how I might want to do something like. I could make this a backup in here, and then back up from it to the server out in the garage if I end up with a server in the garage or something. Anyway, what I think I'm going to do is leave it as a web server, and even, you know, if I end up, probably will end up setting up my website on the real server, and then also my, you know, desktop, I'll probably virtualize it most likely. I'll keep going back and forth because you can just, I could install Fedora 29 desktop on it, mate desktop. Not like you would normally do a server, but I could do that, and then I could run my virtual machines inside of there and tell the server, I could set my server up inside of there and then tell the server to always boot up with the machine, because I remember that I'm pretty sure you can do that. I think I wouldn't want to use a VirtualBox, I don't think, but in VirtualBox, that's the one I've used 99% of the time over the years. And I'm pretty sure you can tell it to start up with the machine in the GUI. But if you were doing it, I'm sure you could do it in one way or the other. And but then the thing is, and it is separated, it's a virtual machine. It gets it, might be a little tricky to get it to talk to the internet to be a real server, because it gets a 10.IP address, local IP address when you set them up. But you can change that. You can tell them. You can set up the IP address, I believe. But anyway, that's not really how I'd want to do it, because when you have hypervisor, then they are separated and protected by the security built into the server, you know. That's the only way I'd really want to run my web server on this. Like I've been saying all along here, I don't want to run my web server on the same machine as my desktop, and my own personal files and everything all on the same machine. Except for maybe in a hypervisor in a real server. That seems to be everything I've seen in the videos all these years and read. It should be safe enough. I don't want to do it just in Fedora or whatever domain like that. That's why I've been so much trouble to set up. I always ran a separate machine, isolated. It's just a web server. If I do put any files or anything, I would be upset about if they got deleted or something. Or affected by some kind of malware or something. You know, I could just reformat the thing and it'd be gone. But let's see, close that for now. LSHW, yeah. Okay, now I could run, I already ran the command and everything. Let's leave that open just in case I decide I want to run something again. And I think I will close that. And I'm going to just close the web browser right now. If I need it again, I'll open it, but like, you know, see there it was at 34, and it was probably much higher at times, you know, while when you're not looking at it. So that's how much CPU total, all four cores, that's how much it's using. So that's why I got to be careful. I'm getting chilly now. It's 61 outside, but the cool of the evening. Temperature is still 70. Excuse me, 7.4. It's actually more than it was a while ago. It was 77.1, I think. Okay. LSHW. I must not have the hardware lister GUI. Oh, I didn't do. Okay, so I think I'll clear all this now. Yeah, I didn't run just LSHW. That's funny what you see. Now this is everything on the machine in the you know, terminal. This is still on the Acer. I just, you know, got Bishop Co Acer. I cleared it, but I didn't log out. I wasn't sure. I didn't think it would, but I hit cleared, you know, to get rid of all the text in there, and it didn't log me out or anything. It put me back in this machine. I'm wary of that now, since it happened to me the other day and I didn't realize it. It was just because I wasn't reading the output. But anyway, the description: computer 4630EZ. That's what the Acer is. That's the model number, and it's called a Montiva Fab. Never knew that. And version 1.11. Serial number, bits, 64 bits. I mean, you have to scan and skip to ever get through all the data you're looking through, and sometimes I skip the wrong stuff. SM BIOS version. Motherboard is an Extensia 4630Z. And PCI upgrade. I don't know. It just caught my eye. Upgrade shadowing, C-boot, boot select. I don't know. Socket D. Socketed ROM. Okay. System memory, physical 14. Size 2 gigabytes. It doesn't say they, like, usually it'll say, add up all the kilobytes and tell you, but it just says 2 gigabytes, which that's easier to decipher right quick. SODIMM DDR2, 667 megahertz. I bought that RAM. Well, I think I bought RAM from my other laptop and put their RAM out of that other laptop into this one's what I think I did. I can't remember now. So, I bought a couple of things for this over the years, but I just don't want to spend all that money on a hard drive for it, As long as this one works, I'll just use it, Even though it says it backup. Yeah, I wouldn't use it for anything that I couldn't afford to lose in an instant, My websites are all backed up, and if it went down, I'm going to make sure I've learned I'm going to have 2 machines. Since this has turned out to be a cool machine, I might, like make the Net Pro Max my backup web server in case. Sometimes you just need to work on a machine. It's not down, but you need to work on it and reboot it a lot or something. Then I can just turn on whatever my backup web server is and point the router to it, and my website's still online. This one, now that I see how cool it is, I might not want to let it just sit around waiting to be a backup web server. But we'll see. Unless it's running all the time, like right now, all I would have to do, well, I'd have to redo the operating system, but if I put a big drive in it, it could be running all the time and being, well, see, then I don't want to do that, though. I don't want my website and my personal data on the same machine. So back up on that. Back up what I was saying on that. Okay. SODIMM. Pentium R, dual CPU, 2 gigahertz. And it is a oh, I did skip that up there. T3 2000 is the CPU that's in it. It's a UPG 478 socket. I guess that's a lot newer than a regular socket 478, because I think my Pentium 4 is a socket 478. My original first Pentium machine I had. Well, no, I had a P3 before that. Anyway, that's an old socket. 64-bit, yeah, I knew that. Clock 166 megahertz. I always forget what's the difference between the clock there and the, because usually they say the clock speed and they say 2 gigahertz, A lot of people do. Maybe they're just saying it wrong, actually. I don't know. I don't get into hardware specs that much. Just the ones that, the main ones that you need to know. Capabilities, and that's a lot of little abbreviations. I'm not going to go into all that. Don't know what most of it is. Might if I stop and read some of them. A lot of people always pay attention to the L2 cache and all that. It says 1 megabyte. I thought they were like 12 megabytes on machines older than this one. Guess I remembered it wrong. I did remember, I learned that a long time ago, that that does make a big difference, especially on how much you can upgrade a machine and like support newer, faster RAM or the processors or whatever, you know. This one, I'm not going to do anything like that to it. Got everything in it that I need it for. Only thing I would have considered doing is putting a screen on it, you know. Now that I know that it's probably a better hardware than my other Dell 2 gigahertz dual core. I think the hardware might be, well, it's got the, you know, I haven't paid attention. For all I know, it has a gigabit Ethernet adapter in it, and I just never paid any attention because I didn't have gigabit routers back then, and I haven't done anything to it in a long time other than just put the main 9 on it. But anyway, that's something I should check on it. Let's see. L1 cache, 332 kilobytes. It's this physical ID 20. And so more and more about the cache. The PCI, I was looking at it and I didn't see anything that stood out that I would really know what's display. VGA compatible controller. That's VGA-O, so that should be the screen, you know, the broken monitor screen. And display, let's see. Display 1 unclaimed. I wonder, well, I'm not on it with the VGA switch, so maybe it's basically turned off. I turned itself off. It's not showing that it's connected to a monitor, but it really, well, no, that VGA switch emulates as if it was always connected to a monitor. That's what keeps it from going dead on you when you're not on it. It's pretty small. It's like under, I think it's even smaller than 800 by 600, but well, that may be what it is actually. Product Mobile 4 Series Chipset Integrated Graphics Controller, Intel Corporation. That's something you might need to know for drivers, you know. Even in Linux, you know, sometimes if it doesn't find you a good open source driver, you might have to go find a proprietary driver for your machine. So it doesn't tell you the model numbers or anything, but it gives you a good start anyway. It's an Intel. USB. I thought it might say something about the speed or like what, you know, if it's 2. I know it's USB 2, but I thought it might tell you that. But if it does, it doesn't say USB 2. Clock speed of the processor for the USB is 33 megahertz. I think most things have to have some sort of processor to make them work. And then USB host. It says name USB 3, but that's not the speed, the version. That's the name of it. This one is somewhere it said that, and I didn't read it. Anyway, USB 1. I think that where it says USB host is more software related anyway. I think that's. Then there's USB 1. To multimedia audio device. Now that's something you might want to know too if you were going to use the audio stuff in it. HD audio controller, Intel. I guess the speaker's working. I don't guess I've ever played any sound on the thing. I'm sure I did a long time ago on a live system, I would guess. PCIO. Yeah, express port. You know, used to the older laptops, they had all these ports on the sides where you plug adapters in. You know, like I remember there was a Dell that If you want to use the CD, you plug that in. If you want to use the floppy, you unplug the CD and plug that in. Different things like that, you know. But that says PCI Express port. I don't know, there might be something on there that I never known about these newer laptops. These are newer to me anyway, these dual cores. You might be able to plug in some PCI devices and maybe places that I've never seen. I mean, if you're going to plug them in, you're going to need to be an I/O for them, you know, whatever they are. Like, say, if it was a sound card or whatever, I don't know. Can't think of anything. Can't think of anything that you'd want it. Well, a video input or output, maybe. Well, the only thing I can think of that you might actually want to do. But, usually, you know, it's USB nowadays. I'll tell you what, you put in several. You put in, well, like on my Lenovo i5, if I plug in I can't run two old USB webcams on it. It'll just drag it down in no time, and that's without even trying to stream or anything. And I was thinking about, I'm still calculating about buying a new, better camera, and I thought, you know, the wireless internet has got its problems with the delay in the out of sync audio and video. So I thought, well, maybe USB, but I just adding the lapel mic on the USB sound card and then if I plug in my USB endoscope, that starts, I can't stream for a couple of hours maybe. Actually, I don't remember how long, but it starts along with, you know, I still got my USB backup drives, but I don't write to them. I mean, they're not running backups while I'm streaming. I make sure of that. But anyway, that's too much to go for very long. Probably a lot less than 2 hours. I don't remember. I just remember noticing it pretty fast, and had to go ahead and stop the video and get some of that stuff unplugged. But USB really works a machine. The data, the in and out data, especially audio and or video devices. Let's see. The network, I'm gonna have to I'm getting it where I'm only not even halfway through this screen here. So I'll just flip right through it. I don't know why. It's really interesting to me. It probably might be really, really boring to a lot of people. But network, there's my wireless adapter again. See, that command showed you just the network stuff, and this will show you everything. This is, you know, I've never used this. I'm sure I've looked at it before, but I don't use it as a rule. I use the GUI app. But it's got a lot of menus to click through, and sometimes I forget how to get to what I'm looking for, and it's cool, it's easy to read, but this may give you a lot more information and in a really easy to read format. Sometimes just a plain old text file is easier to read than a bunch of tabs and stuff, you know. And it's grouped up and as to what's what goes where, you know, what goes with what. That's pretty good. And so PCI 2 Express port. There are some PCI Express ports on this thing, unless that's what internally, you know, like the network card and the Wi-Fi card are plugged into. I wonder if there's like a port you could add something to now. That's what I'm wondering. 2, 3. Well, let's keep going. Let's see. Network. That's back to the PCIe. And what's that one? PCI 2. Express port 3. Trying to see if I can tell if there's anything in those ports. I mean, I'm pretty sure that the Wi-Fi and the wireless chip, even though they're probably soldered, well, the Wi-Fi is not soldered to the board, you can replace it, but the Ethernet, I'm sure it's soldered to the board and it can't be replaced without doing some serious soldering. But what I'm wondering now is, do these laptops actually come with one or two ports you could add something to, you know, just by plugging it in? But I'm getting to where I can't wait any longer to go take my break, so and there's no point. I'm not going to just go take a break and leave it running like I've been doing it sometimes lately. There's no point. I'm just going to quit the video because I'm really just, I don't have no clue that there was anything else. I don't think there's anything else I really wanted or thought I needed to show. ISA bridge. The ISA is the old, is the pre PCI card connectors, and I still have some ISA cards and some machines that use them. But there's an ISA bridge in there, which usually a bridge is just like to make the protocol talk between, like the ISA protocol could talk through the PCI bus or something like that. So I'm not sure. You might even be able to tell if you really look through that. And this ATA disk. Yep, there's the hard drive. Volume, which is, yeah, Linux ext4. There she's showing. Oh, I didn't know it would show like what you have it formatted as. ATE mounted. I don't think there's any. I don't think that's cut off. Volume 1, 2. Yeah, okay. Linux swap. LVM. It sees all that. CD-ROM. There. DVD RAM writer. And it's OptiARC, vendor OptiARC. Oh, and there's the model number. Whoops. There it is. And there's the model number right there, OptiARC. I was trying to get those 2 lines, and then I got the other 2 lines by accident. And all that's good to know if you're needing drivers. Sometimes you'd be surprised what you end up needing to go find a driver for. Serial. There's a serial bus on here. I don't think there's a serial connector on it. There might be. Sometimes it's like, serial to USB. The stuff is in the hardware, in the motherboard and all, but they don't have the connectors. So you can still talk to the serial bus with the USB adapter tool, hardware. Generic unclaim, signal processing. Thermal systems. Must be a temperature sensor. EMP device. Oh, I'm at the bottom now. I skipped through fast enough. And then battery. Lithium-ion battery. Oh, yeah, cool. Just to know that, right here in this. Lithium-ion battery. Vendor virtual battery. Oh, how crazy. Virtual battery. I was like, what is a virtual battery? And I saw it's the vendor of the battery. Oh, and the version is 10.12.07, so that's how old it is. So the fact that it's still got 2 hours of life in it, that's pretty good, I would say, from 07 to 2019 for as batteries go these days. And it's been years under the bed, not plugged in and not getting charged. Try that with your tool batteries these days. Some of them will last longer. It depends on what kind it is. I saw a video of Morton, the server guy, but he also does videos on his house and his tools, working on his house. Calls it My Playhouse, so that's why he originally set up his channel for, and then he found out people wasn't too interested in those videos, but once he made server videos, they liked them. And he likes that. He's a server admin guy. But anyway, he said that people have trouble with, he likes the, I've got a 10-inch table saw, Ryobi. Okay, I have a 10-inch Ryobi table saw that cost me like $125 brand new. Well, I got a floor model. I said, hey, what do you have a, I was looking at them and they were like $175 or something. I said, you have any displays you want to sell? Because I saw an article about that. And he said, oh, well, yeah, that one right there. So I ended up getting, it was brand new with a warranty for like $125, and that was great. So I built me a table saw table and built some little cabinets and stuff, and then stacked it up with junk, and now I can't get to it. It's been stacked up for 2 or 3 years now. Dang it. That's what everybody does with table saws, unless you use them every day. So anyway, he has all kinds of drills and everything that are Ryobis, and he said people have trouble with the batteries. And let's see. I'm just going to see what's there. Yeah, okay. And maybe, I don't know if I can talk and do this at the same time, but let's try. Has trouble with the battery. People have trouble with the batteries. And he said with the Ryobi tools, let's see. Yeah, purple, a lot of times you worry, the older ones, the nickel cadmium batteries, if you left them on the charger all the time, it would wear them out. They'd make them go bad. Well, the batteries, I forgot what exact chemistry they're using in the Ryobi tools, the new ones right now in 2019, 2018, 2019, you know, last few years. I forgot what the chemistry is, but he said if you leave them off for too long, like a couple of weeks or a couple of months, maybe a couple of months, they will get to where they don't want to charge. They'll go, and he was actually figured out something that you could do to get them to recover. That was one of the videos he was making. I forgot what it was. I think it was just kind of, I don't want to say, I don't know, but what he was saying, I think it was one of those tricks like overcharging, not overcharging, but giving them a couple, like a little bit more voltage, half a volt, 1 volt or something for a while, and then they would start taking a charge again. And seems to be kind of the opposite with like the DeWalt tools. Well, I don't think it would hurt them if you leave them on, because they have the battery protection circuits, BCMs, that won't let them charge if they don't need to be charged now. They have that, you know, they didn't have them in the nickel cadmium batteries, so you can leave them off or you can leave them on with the, from what I gather, with the DeWalt. And I have a DeWalt 18 volt with the nickel cadmium batteries, and now neither one of the batteries will charge anymore. But I have one old laptop battery that I saved that I want to try to, I think it has 18650s in it, which is what should be in my, what I believe is in my my DeWalt tools, and I want to see if I can get a couple, you know what, maybe I'll have enough batteries that are still good between them both to rebuild those batteries, but I haven't got around to it yet. Let's see. That's pretty cool. I was thinking, oh, I want to run the GUI tool. I was going to try to install it of the lshw, but that had such good information that I'm not going to bother now. Oh, I hit new instead of save. So I want to put that in my Acer info, and now I have it on my machine. Oh no, that's on that machine. I need to install that on. Oh yeah, no wonder I didn't have it installed. That's a brand new machine. Oh no, I was looking on. Yeah, you know, I was just thinking I installed that on my machine. I didn't install that on my machine. I installed it on the Acer. I need to install that on my machine. All right, so I'm gonna leave everything as it is because now I have to go. I have to run, have a break, and then tonight it's too late for me to start anything else. All right, bye-bye.